I'm Hook Plus CTA. Are you thinking about moving to another state for a fresh start? Before you pack the U-Haul and hit the road, you need to know this. Some places in America are practically shouting, "Do not come here." High costs, harsh climates, local resistance, and tight-knit cultures that don't bend for anyone. These are the 10 U.S. states that quietly make life very hard for newcomers. America may be a country of movers, dreamers, and fresh starts, but not every state is thrilled about new people arriving with U-Hauls and big hopes. Behind the beautiful scenery and friendly slogans, some states are quietly closing the door. High costs, tough weather, local pushback, and cultures that don't bend for anyone. These places aren't just a bit unfriendly. They're sending a clear message. Stay where you are. These are 10 U.S. states that simply don't seem to want you. Number 10, Wyoming. Wyoming is one of the most stunning states in the country. Endless skies, massive mountain ranges, and wildlife that strolls through the driveway like it owns the property. But here's the catch. Wyoming likes being empty and wants to keep it that way. With only about 580,000 people spread across 97,000 square miles, the state has about the same population density as a Costco parking lot in a snowstorm. And honestly, locals are completely okay with that. On paper, Wyoming looks inviting. Low taxes? Check. No state income tax? Double check. Homes that seem affordable? Kind of. The median home price is around $350,000. But actually finding a place is another story. Many small towns treat housing like it's the last pack of toilet paper from 2020. New construction often moves slower than glacier. Locals don't necessarily hate newcomers, as long as they don't try to change anything. Don't complain about missing city conveniences, and don't ask why the nearest Walmart is almost an hour away. The weather also isn't here to make friends. Wyoming winters aren't just cold, they feel aggressive. Winds can hit 60 to 80 miles per hour, and some parts of the state feel like a permanent Arctic documentary. If you enjoy losing feeling in your face every time you step outside, you'll fit in. If not, Wyoming will welcome you with snow, ice, and a quiet, "You sure you want to stay?" Crime is low, which is nice, but that's partly because many locals own multiple trucks, several rifles, and the confidence of someone who can track a deer in their sleep. It's not exactly hostile, it's just very Wyoming. Newcomers can feel out of place because the culture feels like stepping directly into a country song. Then there's the job market. If you're not in energy, mining, tourism, or ranching, opportunities can be limited. Lots of towns rely on seasonal tourism, and when the economy shifts, unemployment follows. Wyoming isn't rude. It's not openly hostile. It simply values silence, space, and tradition. So when new people arrive with big ideas, loud personalities, or expectations of convenience, the unspoken message is, "You're welcome, but don't try to change us." Number 9, Vermont. Vermont looks like a postcard made by someone who believes autumn should last forever. Rolling hills, red barns, maple syrup that tastes like happiness, and tiny towns so calm they barely feel real. But here's the truth. Vermont is beautiful and quietly exclusive. Locals love their calm life, and many of them will be just fine if the rest of the world forgot Vermont even exists. The first thing newcomers notice: the prices. Vermont might look rural, but its cost of living didn't get the small town memo. The median home price is around $420,000, and after the remote work boom, prices have climbed almost everywhere. Good luck outbidding someone who just sold a tiny condo in Boston for $900,000 and now wants your charming farmhouse. Taxes don't help either. Vermont has some of the highest property taxes in the U.S., and income tax can reach the high single digits. For a state with under 650,000 people, newcomers often wonder where all that money goes, because it's definitely not going into wider highways or big new housing projects. Then there's the culture. Vermonters are kind, but cautiously kind. They'll wave, help pull your car out of the snow, and lend you a shovel, but still call you the new person 10 years later. It's not personal. That's just how Vermont works. You don't become a local. You're born into it. The weather is brutal. Vermont winters aren't just a season, they're a test of endurance. Snow stacks up like it's trying to create a second Vermont right on top of the first one. Sub-zero temperatures are normal. Ice storms show up like guests who refuse to go home. Jobs will be limited. 2. Outside Burlington, work options shrink fast. Tourism and maple syrup can only carry so much. Remote workers do well, but if you need an in-person office job, good luck. Crime is very low, which is great, but that's part of why locals are protective. Vermont is one of the few places that still feels untouched, and many people want to keep it exactly that way. Vermont won't directly tell you not to move there. Instead, it will test if you can handle the snow, the taxes, and a community that takes years to warm up. Number 8, New Jersey. New Jersey is one of the most misunderstood states in America, mostly because New Jersey doesn't care how it's perceived. It's dense, fast, expensive, loud, and proudly unfiltered. If you're new here, they'll remind you of all that within your first 48 hours. First, taxes. New Jersey has the highest property taxes in the entire country, averaging over $9,000 per year. And that's if you're lucky. A modest $450,000 house can come with a tax bill that looks like a luxury car payment. Income taxes don't give you much of a break either. Housing isn't cheap. The median home price is around $500,000. In many North Jersey suburbs, $700,000 might only get you a 3-bedroom house built during the Eisenhower era. Want something newer? Add another $250,000 and a prayer. Then there's the attitude. Locals aren't necessarily unfriendly. They're just efficient. They skip small talk, tell you exactly what they think, and will definitely judge how you drive. People here have strong opinions about bagels, pizza, and even which parkway exit defines your entire personality. Outsiders often mistake this directness for anger, but it's really just cultural honesty wrapped in sarcasm and caffeine. Traffic is another shock. New Jersey has more cars than patience. Commuting often feels like a competitive sport. One wrong exit, and suddenly you're on a toll road headed toward Newark with no easy way off. Despite all that, crime isn't terrible statewide. Sure, cities like Camden, Trenton, and parts of Newark have high crime rates, but many suburbs are extremely safe. The problem isn't safety, it's cost, congestion, and culture. Business conditions vary a lot by location. Near New York or Philadelphia, great. Farther out, much harder. The cost of doing business can be painful with high labor expenses, taxes, and a maze of regulations. At the core, the main reason New Jersey feels unwelcoming is simple. It's crowded. With 9.3 million people packed into a small state, locals are used to limited space, limited parking, and limited patience. When newcomers arrive, the instinctive reaction is, why did you pick here? New Jersey isn't exactly rude. New Jersey is just New Jersey. If you can survive the taxes, traffic, tolls, and tone, you'll eventually blend in. Number 7, Montana. Montana used to be one of America's best-kept secrets. Big sky, snow-capped peaks, small towns where everyone knows your name, and a calm lifestyle that feels almost unreal. Then the 2020s happened. Suddenly, everyone discovered Montana, and locals have been side-eyeing newcomers ever since. The first shock for many people is housing. The median home price in Montana is around $450,000. But in hot spots like Gallatin and Missoula counties, prices often range from $700,000 to over $1 million, driven by waves of out-of-state buyers. A local making $45,000 a year can't compete with someone from California or Seattle arriving with a pocket full of home equity. Montana's infrastructure wasn't built for fast population growth either. Some towns have just one grocery store, one high school, and one main road in and out. Add a lot more people and suddenly everything gets stressed: traffic, schools, hospitals, and rentals. Then there's the weather. Montana winters are legendary. Temperatures can drop to minus 30 degrees Fahrenheit. Blizzards can arrive suddenly. Snow can bury entire communities. This is not some cozy movie winter. This is buy a snowblower and hope for the best winter. Locals treat it like a badge of honor. Newcomers who complain get instant eye rolls. The culture clash is one of the biggest reasons Montana feels unwelcoming. Longtime residents value privacy, tradition, and a tough, independent lifestyle. Newcomers often want more development, more dining options, more amenities. Locals see that as the first step toward turning Montana into the same kind of place people say they wanted to escape. Taxes are moderate, but daily life gets expensive quickly. Groceries, gas, heating, and basic services cost more because almost everything has to be transported long distances. A basic shopping trip can feel like you're buying imported luxury goods. And above all, Montana takes freedom and space seriously. People move there to be left alone. When outsiders show up wanting to change zoning, expand suburbs, or bring in big city politics, Montana answers firmly: respect the land, respect the people, and don't turn this into the place you left. Number 6, Oregon. Oregon once had a reputation of being relaxed, artsy, weird in a good way, and always open to newcomers. But times have changed. Now the message feels more like, we're full. The biggest issue is housing. The median home price is about $485,000. In the Portland metro area, prices commonly land between $550,000 and $650,000 for a decent place that isn't falling apart or sitting next to a large encampment. The housing crunch is so bad that even smaller towns like Bend and Ashland have seen prices explode. Bidding wars, low inventory, and frustrated locals blaming each other. Locals blame new arrivals. Newcomers blame Californians. Californians blame tech companies. Tech companies are out hiking. Then come the taxes. Oregon has no sales tax, which sounds fantastic, until you realize the state makes up for it with high income taxes. Over 9% for many residents and up to 9.9% for top earners. Businesses also face a stack of regulations, making it a challenging state for small companies. And then there's Portland, once the pride of the Pacific Northwest. Now it's often associated with rising crime, homelessness, and deep political divides. Property crime has gone up, homeless camps line sidewalks, and even lifelong locals say, wasn't always like this. Culturally, Oregonians are friendly in conversation, but distant in lifestyle. They like privacy, routines, and a simple rule: don't act like you just moved here from California. New residents may feel slow, passive pushback, long stares, jokes about out-of-state plates, and bumper stickers like, "Don't California my Oregon." The weather tests people, too. The western half of Oregon is covered in gray skies and rain for much of the year. 150 to 200 days annually in many areas. You start to live by mood lighting. Vitamin D becomes essential. Sunshine turns into a rumor. And if you move to Oregon expecting a quirky TV show lifestyle, you'll quickly find out that many locals didn't like that show anyway. Oregon isn't mean. It's protective. People love their rivers, forests, mountains, and quiet routines. And they're not excited about anyone changing that. Number 5, Colorado. Colorado used to be America's under-the-radar mountain paradise. Cleaner air, taller mountains, and a simpler pace of life. Now, locals say the state has hit full capacity, and newcomers are often greeted with a mix of politeness and quiet frustration. Housing is where most people feel the pain first. The median home price in Colorado is around $540,000. But in Denver, Boulder, and resort towns, things get wild. Boulder commonly has listings over $1 million. Ski towns like Aspen, Telluride, and Vail are in the $2 to $4 million range. Locals blame investors, out-of-state buyers, and remote workers for turning neighborhoods into trophy home collections. Traffic is another major complaint. Once, driving in Colorado meant scenic, low-stress roads. Now, Interstate 70 is a seasonal nightmare. During ski season, a 90-minute drive can easily turn into 4 hours stuck in traffic, accidents, and sliding cars, while locals mutter, "This is why we told people to stop moving here." Crime has also increased, especially in Denver and Aurora, with property crime, car theft, and homelessness becoming more noticeable. Colorado's culture has been shifting, too. It used to attract rugged outdoorsy people, hikers, skiers, ranchers. Now, locals joke about newcomers arriving in expensive outdoor gear, talking about manifesting abundance and raising rent. It's a stereotype, but it shows how residents feel the change. Weather helps filter out the unprepared. Winters are intense. Temperatures drop below freezing often. Winds can reach 40 to 60 miles per hour. Snowstorms show up with little warning. Many people move here without understanding how extreme it is, and locals quickly notice who can't handle it. Taxes aren't terrible, but the overall cost of living is high. Groceries, gas, and utilities all sit above the national average. In mountain towns, picture stunning views plus very expensive sandwiches. In the end, Colorado isn't inherently unfriendly. It's overloaded. Too many people arrive too quickly, and locals feel like the identity of the state is getting stretched in every direction. Number 4, California. California is iconic. Beautiful landscapes, diverse cities, and one of the biggest economies on Earth. But it's also one of the most unwelcoming states for newcomers in terms of cost, complexity, and burnout. The people may still be friendly. The math is not. California won't literally tell you to stay away. The prices will. Housing alone knocks out many potential movers. The median home price is around $770,000. In Los Angeles and Orange County, prices typically range from $850,000 to over $1 million. In Silicon Valley, $1.50 to $2.20 million might get you something that isn't ancient or falling apart. Even rural regions have seen prices rise, with many homes between $450,000 and $650,000. Rent also hurts. A small one-bedroom in San Francisco can run around $3,200 a month. Los Angeles is much better, usually between $2,300 and $2,700. Then taxes hit you. California has the highest state income tax rate in the country, up to 13.3% for top earners. Even middle-income families pay way more than the national average once you add state income tax, sales tax, gas tax, and property tax. Crime and homelessness have also reshaped how people see the state. Cities like San Francisco, Oakland, and parts of LA struggle with visible homelessness, property crime, and open-air drug use. California has over 170,000 unhoused people, by far the most in the country. For businesses, California is no easy ride either. Regulations, labor laws, and high taxes have pushed many companies to move operations to states like Texas, Nevada, and Arizona. Then there's nature, and not just the pretty side. Wildfires, droughts, and heat waves are now part of life. Fire seasons burn millions of acres, raise insurance costs, and in some places, insurers have stopped writing new policies altogether. But maybe the biggest reason California feels unwelcoming is emotional. Many residents are exhausted from crowding, from rising prices, from politics, from watching neighborhoods change overnight. So when newcomers arrive talking about California dreams, locals often respond, "It's not the dream it used to be." California is gorgeous, but demands a lot: money, patience, and resilience. For many newcomers, that reality hits fast. Number 3, Alaska. Alaska isn't just a state, it's an entire experience. One that punches you in the face with cold, steals your groceries via wildlife, freezes your eyelashes, and then rewards you with the most incredible views you've ever seen. Let's be clear, Alaska isn't very welcoming, not because of the people, but because the environment itself is the gatekeeper. Start with the cost of living. Groceries are expensive enough to shock most newcomers. A typical bag of groceries in Anchorage can cost $70 to $90. In remote villages, prices can be extreme: $12 for milk, $15 for cereal, because everything is shipped or flown in. Utilities are also high. Heating bills can easily reach $300 to $500 per month, depending on the winter, and winter lasts most of the year. Housing isn't cheap either. The median home price is about $400,000, and in areas like Juneau, Anchorage, or the Kenai Peninsula, prices are even higher. Building is expensive, materials are costly, and land is limited by mountains, forests, and frozen ground. And then there's the weather. Alaska cold isn't normal cold. It's, I can't feel my soul cold. Temperatures can drop to minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit. In some northern communities, you get over 2 months of complete darkness. A lot of newcomers arrive excited about adventure and leave worn down or depressed. Crime is another surprise. Anchorage has one of the highest violent crime rates per capita in the U.S. Isolation, limited policing, drug problems, and huge distances make law enforcement difficult. Some rural villages don't even have local police on site. Wildlife adds its own challenges. Moose are not cute pets. They're huge, unpredictable, and can block your car or path for long periods. Bears wander into neighborhoods and yards. In many parts of Alaska, you don't walk your dog without bear spray, and you don't take out the trash without thinking it through. Jobs can be hit or miss. Oil, fishing, and tourism dominate the economy, but they rise and fall with global conditions. Seasonal jobs disappear quickly, and downturns can be severe. Culturally, Alaskans are generally friendly, but very independent. They like space, self-reliance, and living in a place that hasn't been overrun by development. It's a great place if you're tough, prepared, and realistic. If you're not, Alaska shows you the door quickly. Number 2, Massachusetts. Massachusetts is one of the most educated, historic, and culturally rich states in America, and also one of the toughest for newcomers. Not because people are openly rude, but because it's expensive, crowded, and tightly knit. In a way that can make outsiders feel like they arrived long after the party ended. Housing is one of the biggest barriers. The median home price is around $610,000. In the Boston metro area, it's common to see prices between $800,000 and over $1.2 million for a standard single-family house. Rent is also punishing. A one-bedroom in Boston often runs between $2,700 and $3,200 per month, and that's before you pay for parking. If you manage to find a space, taxes are another hit. The state income tax is a flat 5%, but property taxes can be quite high depending on the town. New England communities love their town budgets, and you help pay for them. Then, there's the day-to-day cost of living, groceries, childcare, car insurance, healthcare, all above the national average. Many newcomers quickly ask, how does anyone actually afford this? Traffic makes it worse. Boston streets feel like they were laid out before cars existed, because many of them were. A 25-minute drive on paper often becomes an hour in real life. Drivers are famously aggressive. Think New Jersey attitude with a vocabulary from Harvard. Culturally, Massachusetts is polite but reserved. People have long-established social circles from school, work, and family networks. Newcomers are often treated decently, but kept at arm's length for a while. Building a true local support system can take years. Sports culture is huge. Red Sox, Patriots, Bruins, Celtics. And if you're not into any of them, you might feel like you miss an important part of the state identity. Weather isn't kind either. Winters are long, snowy, and icy. Snowstorms can dump 1 to 3 feet of snow at a time. Freezing rain shows up often. Summer is beautiful but short. Crime varies by area. Boston is relatively safe for a large city, but some other regions struggle more with property crime and opioid-related issues. Massachusetts isn't deliberately trying to scare people away. It's just a place with high standards, high prices, and deep roots. If you manage to handle the traffic, weather, and costs, you'll eventually earn respect. Number 1, Hawaii. Hawaii is the definition of paradise at first glance. Volcanoes, turquoise water, golden beaches, soft breezes, and a laid-back island vibe that feels unreal. But living in Hawaii as a newcomer? That dream can turn into a financial nightmare very fast. Hawaii doesn't just feel unwelcoming. For many people, it's financially out of reach. Start with housing. Hawaii has the highest home prices in the U.S., with a median around $850,000. On many islands, $1 million for a basic single-family home is normal. A 3-bedroom house on Oahu can cost between $1.20 and $1.6 million. On Maui, prices can be even higher, driven by investors' vacation rentals and severe housing shortages. Rent doesn't offer much relief. A 1-bedroom apartment may cost between $2,000 and $2,800 per month, and that's without utilities. Electricity is extremely expensive, often between 40 cents and 45 cents per kilowatt hour, among the highest in the nation. Groceries are another shock. A gallon of milk can cost $7 to $10. Eggs might be $6 to $9. Almost everything, food, fuel, supplies, building materials, clothes, is more expensive because it must be shipped in. You pay island prices for everything. Jobs outside tourism, government, and healthcare can be hard to find. Salaries usually don't keep up with the cost of living. Many people end up working 2 or 3 jobs just to stay afloat, often without saving much. Then there's the cultural side, and it matters. Native Hawaiians and longtime residents have watched decades of rising housing prices and land being bought by outsiders while locals are pushed out. There is a natural mix of politeness and quiet resentment toward constant new arrivals, not always personally, but historically. Respect for the land, culture, and local community is non-negotiable. If you move to Hawaii and act like it's just your vacation extended, you will feel the tension quickly. Traffic in Honolulu is notoriously bad. Tourist crowds pack popular beaches and towns almost year-round. Natural risks are also part of life. Volcanic activity, hurricanes, and wildfires are real threats, as the devastating fires in Maui showed. The final wall is isolation. The nearest mainland is about 2,400 miles away, so travel, shipping, and logistics are all slower and more expensive. Hawaii itself isn't inherently unfriendly. Many Hawaiians are warm, generous, and deeply community-focused. But the state sends a clear message to newcomers. If you can't afford it, if you won't respect the culture, and if you're not ready for island life sacrifices, don't force it. Moving to Hawaii takes money, resilience, humility, and real respect, or the islands will push you out. And now that you've seen the 10 most unwelcoming states for newcomers, ask yourself, which one surprised you the most? If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like this video, subscribe to USA Cities, and turn on notifications.